Hey guys, welcome to the Daily Word Bible Study, a plain and simple, book by book, chapter by chapter, verse by verse study of the entire Bible. Currently, we are in the book of Job. I'm going to get to chapter 5. Now, we had to break off in the middle of one of Job's friends' reply to Job. So what we're going to see is it is going back and forth. Job made a reply, but the astounding fact here is that his friend immediately starts attacking Job. Immediately. He hears Job, and he doesn't like Job's response. Now, again, what he doesn't know is what God knows. And what we will see is this is going to be their biggest mistakes throughout this. And God will rebuke them in the end. But beyond that is that this is human nature. And I can tell you right now, and some of you can even, agree to this. People are not always sympathetic. And as we already see, in my opinion, you kind of see this is, even though they admired Job, Job was the flavor of the day. And as soon as his adversity happened, now they're speaking, they're basically claiming is that Job, you know you did something wrong for this to happen. All right, we're going to get cut right in. Like I say, we're going to go back and forth with this. Where am I at here? Okay. Oh, here we go. All right. Now, again, this is Zelophehad. He is still responding to Job first discourse here. He says, "Call out if you will please. Will anyone answer you? Which of the holy ones will you turn to?" Now, again, this is some ignorance that he is speaking out of. Because fortunately for us, we already know how God feels about Job. So all of this, what he's saying, he's speaking out of ignorance, and that's best. Verse 2, For anger kills fools, and jealousy slays the gullible. I have seen a fool taking root. I have seen a fool taking root, but I immediately pronounce a curse on his home. His children are far from safety. They are crushed at the city gate, with no one to rescue them. The hungry consumes his harvest, even taking it out of the thorns. The thirsty pants for his children's wealth, for his distress does not grow out of soil, and trouble does not sprout from the ground. But mankind is born for trouble, as surely as sparks fly upwards. However, if I were you, I would appeal to God. I would present my case to him. He does great and unsearchable things, wonder without number. He gives rain to the earth and sends water to the fields. He sets the lowly on high, and mourners are lifted to safety. He frustrates the scheme of the crafty, so they achieve no success. He traps the wise in their craftiness, so that the plans of the deceptive are quickly brought to an end. Now, if you would notice that this phrase here, we're going to see a couple of phrases that the other writers of the Bible use. Paul used this kind of phrase, I believe it's Second Corinthians chapter 11, I believe it is. He traps the wise in their craftiness. All right, verse 14. They encounter darkness by day, and they grope at noon, as if it were night. Now, remember, this was written before the law of Moses. You see some of this language in Deuteronomy, like Deuteronomy chapter 28, when he's pronouncing the curses for not obeying the law. Verse 15, he saved the needy from the sharp sword and from the clutches of the powerful. So the poor have hope, and injustice shuts his mouth. See how happy the man is God corrects. Again, we see this again. The reason why I'm kind of pointing this out, notice these statements were made, this wisdom was given by God early on. See how happy the man is, God corrects. So do not reject do not reject the discipline of the Almighty, for he crushes, but he also binds up. He strikes, but his hands also heals. He will rescue you from 6 calamities. No harm will touch you in 7. Now, if you notice, again, we're going to see this statement in Proverbs. How happy is the man whom God correct. Don't reject the discipline of the Almighty. The book of Hebrews, I think chapter 12, you see this quoted here. Verse 19, he rescues you from 6 calamities. No harm will touch you in the 7th. In famine, he will redeem you from death, and in battle, from the power of the sword. You will be safe from slander, and not fear destruction when it comes. You will laugh at destruction and hunger, and not fear the animals of the earth, for you will have a covenant with the stones of the field, and the wild animals will be at peace with you. You will know that your tent is secure, and nothing will be missing when you inspect your home. You will also know that your offspring will be many, and your descendants like the grass of the earth. You will approach the grave in full vigor, and stack sheaves is on the stack of sheaves is gathering the season. We have investigated this, and it is true. Hear it and understand it for yourself. Now he's talking to Job. By the way, he's talking to Job as if Job has not experienced all of this. Remember, Job lost all of this, but he's talking to Job. It's like, dude, who are you referring this to here? Let's see here. All right, Job's. Now this is going to be Job's. Come on. All right. Okay. So now Job is going to reply. Like I say, we're going to go back and forth with this. Then Job answered, if only my grief could be weighed and my devastation placed with it in its scales, for then it would outweigh the sands of the seas. This is why my words are rash. Now, he's trying to, I want to say the biggest probably thing here, the mistake, is trying to plead to people like this. If I could go back and change the times of trying to plead my case to people, and at the end they had no interest in me or my case. So verse 3, verse 4, surely the arrows of the Almighty have pierced me, and my spirit drinks their poison. God terrors or array against me. Now remember, this is true. We already know this is true. God commissioned this. Does a wild donkey braids over fresh grass, or an ox lour over its fodder? Is bland food eaten without salt? Is there flavor in the eggs white? I love eggs white. I've become very used to eating eggs white, diet-wise. But anyway, notice again. But also notice the kind of the life experience, the wisdom here, in that he is, even though he is expressing it in grief. Just kind of notice the expression of what he is saying. Verse 7. I refuse to touch them. They are like contaminated food. If only my request would be granted, and God would provide what I hope for, meaning death, of course. He would decide to crush me, to unleash his power and cut me off. It would still bring me comfort, and I would leap for joy in unrelenting pain that I have not denied the word of the Holy One. What strength do I have that I should continue to hope? What is my future that I should be patient? Is my strength that of stone and my flesh made of bronze? Since I cannot help myself, the hope for success has banished from me. A despairing man should receive loyalty from his friends, even if he abandons the fear of the Almighty. A kind of interesting statement right here, because remember, they're kind of coming down on Job very hard, right? And remember, he's speaking out of anguish. My brothers are as treacherous as the wadi, as seasonal streams that overflow and become darkened because of ice, and the snow melts into them. The wadis evaporates. By the way, the term wadi here means a kind of a channel, almost you can say a man-made channel, but sometimes nature-made channels. Not necessarily rivers, but sometimes they're full of water, sometimes they're dry. The wadis evaporate in warm weather. They disappear from their channels in hot weather. Caravans turn away from their routes, go up to the desert and perish. The caravans of Tiamat look for these streams. The traveling merchants of Sheba hope for them. Interesting, Sheba is mentioned so back during this period of time. They are ashamed because they have been confident of finding water. When they arrive there, they are frustrated. So this is what you have now become to me, right? So he said all that to kind of say, look, you guys are, just dried out wadis. In other words, you are people that look for something refreshing, only when they get there, it's dried out. Imagine dried out dirt, but you're looking for thirst quenching water. Verse 21. So this is what you have become to me. When you see something dreadful, you are afraid. Have I ever said, give me something? Or pay a bribe for me from your wealth? Or deliver me from the enemy's power? Or redeem me from the wrath of the ruthless? Teach me, and I will be silent. Help me understand what I did wrong. Now this question here is very interesting because it's going to kind of grow to where Job will get in trouble with God later on. Right now, Job is correct. I didn't do anything wrong. For all this to happen, we know it because God gives us a behind the scenes look. But what does your rebuke prove? Do you think that you can disprove my words, or that a disparaging man's words are mere wind? No doubt you would cast lots for a fatherless child and negotiate a price to sell your friend. But now, please look at me. Would I lie in your face? Reconsider. Don't be unjust. Reconsider. My righteousness is still the issue. Is there injustice in my tongue? or can my palate not taste disaster? Job 7, he's going to continue on. Is mankind consigned to forced labor on earth, and not his days like those of a hired hand? Like a slave, he longs for shade. Like a hired man, he waits for his pay. So I have been made to inherit months of futility, and troubled nights have been assigned to me. When I lie down, I think. When I get up. But the evening drags on endlessly, and I toss and turn until dawn. My flesh is clothed with maggots and encrusted with dirt. My skin forms scabs and then ooze this. Now we probably got a little taste of this. We probably got a little taste of this when he was scraping. In terms of the scabs and the sores that were upon him in chapter 2. My days pass more swiftly than the weaver's shuttle. They come to an end without hope. Remember that my life is but a breath. My eyes will never again see anything good. The eye of anyone who looks upon me will no longer see me. Your eyes look for me, but I will be gone. As a cloud fades away and vanishes, so the one who goes down to Sheol will never rise again. Now, verse 9. Notice that he talks about let me see this. Notice he deals with Sheol. Now, Sheol, from their perspective, is the grave. Okay, Sheol is the grave, and for them, that meant the end of everything. It meant that it was, done with. When you died, that was it. And as I said, one of the things that you don't see, or at least at this point in time, kind of like what they don't have, is the revelation of the spiritual realm, which is kind of interesting because remember, man is the three-part being. He's the spirit, he is the spirit, he has the soul, and he lives in the body. When you die, your spirit and soul separate from your body. Existence go on, but from their perspective, the grave, in a sense, is it. By the way, this is even to this day, there are some people that believe in what is called soul sleep, that they die and they kind of sleep in the ground until the resurrection. Verse 10. He will never return to his house. His hometown will no longer remember him. Therefore, I will not restrain my mouth. I will speak in the anguish of my spirit. I will complain in the bitterness of my soul. Am I the sea or sea monster, and that you keep me under guard? When I say my bed will comfort me, and my couch will ease my complaints, then you will frighten me with dreams, and terrify me with visions. So I prefer strangling death rather than life in this body. I give up. I will not live forever. Leave me alone, for my days are a breath, meaning a short period of time. What is man that you think so highly of him and pay so much attention to him? Now, this will become later something that David will speak of in respects to God. Okay, that the book of Hebrews also will quote. Verse 18. And the question is, what is man that you think so highly of him and pay so much attention to him? You inspect him every morning. You put him to the test every moment. Will you look away from me or leave me alone enough to swallow? If I have sinned, what have I done to you, watcher of mankind? Now, he's kind of speaking to God. And as I said, right now, he's kind of teeter-tottering, right? And this is going to evolve into Job justifying himself over God. And we're going to see how that's play out. Because it's kind of interesting. Because you would think Job has a cause. God himself admits to destroying Job's life without a cause. Verse 20 again, if I have sinned, what have I done to you, watcher of mankind? Why have you made me your target, so that I have become a burden to you? Why not forgive my sin, or pardon my transgression? For soon I will lie down in the grave, and you will eagerly seek me, but I will be gone. Now, Job, you just said you haven't sinned, right? And again, he's speaking out of ignorance because he doesn't know what God knows. He doesn't know what had transpired in the heavenly realm. Again, fascinating discourse here that brings out human nature, doesn't it? I can tell you, as I said before, that people can respond the same way. Don't ever think that don't ever rely on a man for your comfort, because some people will turn on you. Yes, I could tell you stories, how people criticize. I could tell you a story about a person that criticized me the day after my first wife passed away. We were sitting in the funeral home making funeral arrangements, and he just started berating me. Wow, just started berating me. Now, this is, I think, when I say literally, she died in the evening, and that we was in the funeral home the next day making arrangements, and he just started berating me. So again, Job's friends. Okay, guys, don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to VP, the Bible Perspective. And as always, if you have a thought or comment, add it to the comments section below. All comments are welcome. All right, I'll see you in the next study.